Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mupo and Friends. Our very special guest today has a long lasting career that spans from theater, television, film, and music. Who can forget his iconic role along a very special companion in the TV show BJ and the Bear, and numerous appearances from Melrose Place, Pacific Palisades, Tech War, My Two Dads, and many more? Let's give a very warm welcome to Greg Evigan. Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We are
Welcome,
so
welcome.
honored to have you here.
We are,
Thanks. Good to
especially
be here.
because he's from New Jersey.
Jersey.
So just so everybody knows, even though he resides in California, he's from New Jersey, 15 minutes from my
Yeah.
house. I just have a
Sayreville, New Jersey.
yeah, no, for real. And I know you went to Saraville War Memorial High School, right? Am I
Yep.
saying it right? War Memorial High School. Yeah.
Right.
And which is literally 15 minutes from where I grew up. And did you ever attend any Saraville Bomber football games? Because they were really famous when we were growing up.
Oh yeah. Go Bombers, go. I remember. You kidding me? We used to go every, what was it? Once a week. What was it? Friday night?
Friday
Friday.
nights, yes.
Yeah, I think it was. But I used to love it. Well, it's when you got to see everybody, and everybody came to the games, and whether they cared about the game or not, they came to the game. You know, to do
Nice.
whatever, to cause trouble, whatever. You know.
Now, I heard you were in your school's Hall of Fame for all your numerous contributions to the entertainment industry. What was it like going back to your hometown after all achieving all that fame?
It was great. It was really great. It was, you know, that was unexpected. Obviously, I got the letter and said, "Would you come?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I mean, anybody who wants to honor me, I appreciate that. And so it was good to see a lot of the people that I haven't seen for a long time. And I think I'm trying to think of who else got. There was three nominees, and I was one of them. So I think Carmen Speasy, Jersey, Carmen, and
Yes.
I'm trying to think who the other was, but it was great. It was a great night. It was a good chance to go back. Any chance to go back to Jersey, I'm going. You know,
Right on. Right on.
yeah.
Maybe
There
when I
you
build a
go.
recording
Points
studio.
points for Jersey.
I got a lot of friends back there still. My friends from high school, for at least four of them that I still keep in touch with. So
That's
we,
amazing. So
yeah.
I don't know if everyone knows this, but he built that recording studio back there, and in because he's from New Jersey, he's extremely musically talented. Let's get that out there. Anyone from New Jersey that is successful knows music and acting. And it's just a proven fact. Um so I have a question because I know you did Jesus Christ Superstar and you were in Greece. Um that was after
I'm
high
gonna talk
school,
to the.
right?
By the way, I'm going to talk to the director today from Greece after all these years. I haven't talked to him for forever. He's
Wow.
doing a book. He's putting out on Greece. So uh, just a little segue there. But I mean, he don't want to interrupt your question, but yeah, Tom Moore, great guy. So
Awesome, awesome.
that's
Okay, well, I was gonna say, did you always wanna be a star on Broadway? Because
no,
it was
I
instant, I
never
heard.
thought. Believe me, I it was bands for me. Like you talked about Bon Jovi a little bit before we were talking before we started, but but it was always bands. I had four different bands, and like the names are great. Like one was the Royal Plums. That was the first one. Second one was IBM, Ill Bred Minds. Then we had another one called Strange Brew. And what was the first one? First one was the Carltons, right? So we had all these bands in Jersey, and so that was my hope. It was always just to do music. Music was where my heart was. But this opportunity came up. A friend of mine, Gary Delina, Gary, he's a comic in Jersey. He's
He is a comic. I've seen him at the Stone Pony a few times.
yeah, Gary and I, Gary's the guy that if it wasn't for Gary, seriously, I probably wouldn't. I don't know how it would have happened, maybe some other way, but Gary found this little article in what was it called? The Entertainment. It was one of the it doesn't matter. Little article said open call for Jesus Christ Superstar, right? So he says, "Hey man, here's our chance," and we're in high school. So I was 17, and he says, all we got to do is show up and look at this little article. Nobody's going to see this. This is so who we got this. So we learned. I mean, I learned that whole show inside and out, and I decided, well, I'm just going to go for Jesus. And so we show up. There's 15,000 people in line. the line went from 8th Avenue and 51st all the way down to Broadway or 7th, up to 52nd, all the way back down to 9th and 8th rather. And
Wow.
we got there early. Some people slept overnight. They were on the street sleeping. And I had my coolest pants on, like golden blue stripes with every freak in New York with, stuff hanging on. I said, oh my God, we are really out of our league here, man. And so we got in the back of that line. Guy said, yeah, down there, make a left, go down. And we waited all day till around 5:30. And I remember his name was Charlie, the doorman, little guy. He must have been about 4 feet tall. Comes out with a cigar. He says, pick 12 bars. I'm like, 12 bars? Are you kidding me? 12 bars. I know the whole show. 12 bars. And I just decided, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to start the song from the beginning. I did Garden of Gethsemane. I started it from the beginning and just went in. And by the time, and they let me go, by the time I got to the middle of it, my knees were so weak. I was literally just that I fell to my knees, which worked out great for the song, because if you know that song, in the middle of it, there's a lot of emotion. And I finished it. I barely got off the floor, and I walked out of the place. He goes, wait, hold it. Can you come back tomorrow? I said, yeah, absolutely. And so I came back 15 times. So it was 15 auditions for that thing. And then finally they cast us in August. And that was it. I left Jersey, went on the road, 17 years old. It was a great start, but it was complete departure from what I never thought that it was going to be something like that would take me into, get me on my way, and then it was Greece right after that. But yeah, but did that answer your question? I know.
Yeah.
Good tangent right there.
That's incredible. And you both got hired.
No, Gary did not get hired. Gary,
Hey,
he went for King Herod. I'm
okay.
sure he did a great job, and but he did not get hired. But he stayed in the entertainment business, and he made a living as a comedian for 35, 40 years. So, which is rough. You know how that is. Not an easy business, But yeah, that was the start. So I was on a bus and truck tour at 17, and then back to
And
Broadway. Then another year on Broadway after. So it was 2 years of that show. Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And
Mhm.
speaking of you're doing a passion project, something that your music that
Right.
you do. I saw you play the saxophone, and that was incredible. That's my favorite instrument, by the way. You're doing something with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is a passion project because it's gone on for so long. I went and I recorded with a friend of mine. His name is Joe Curiel. He has a few albums out, like classical type music, and mine's more like, I'd say, movie theme-ish. So he said, "Greg, you should take these pieces." I had at the time I had maybe 3 pieces. He said, "You should take these. We should go and do them." And I've got a connection in London, with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra at Abbey Road. We'll do it at Abbey Road. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And he says, "No, seriously, we can do this." And so I kind of, what I did was I probably took every piece of music that I had that was in that realm, and I sat down for 2 months straight. I really kind of woodshedded this thing, and I wrote these pieces. I finished. I had 3 written, and then I wrote 5 more, and honed them down and got them ready. And then Joe did he did all the charts, and we went in together, and we had a 65-piece orchestra. We did it in the big room at Abbey Road, and I've got it done finally after all these years. And so I was saying, if anybody wants to kind of sign up for the pre-order list, there's you just go to evigan.com, and you'll see it. It's right there. But I'd love for you all to hear it out there.
Well,
Oh my
I'm
God,
going to get on that list,
Yeah.
especially because you did it in Abbey Road too. And the fact
Yeah,
that you're
it's
from
pretty.
New Jersey, I'm sure you're so talented with it.
I would love to hear that. That's amazing. What does it take to, what is it that like working with such a big orchestra? What's the
Nerve-wracking.
process?
It's nerve-wracking because we only had 6 hours total to do 8 pieces. So we just Joe, the conductor, he conducted it, and did a great job, and we pulled the whole thing off. I literally have it. I have some tape on it, and the clock was 2 minutes away from on the last piece from hitting the time where overtime was going to cost a fortune. And I did pay for it myself, so it wasn't like I was backed by anybody. And so it was expensive, good experience that I hope I get to do again in another, with another orchestra one of these days. But I've been also doing the pop stuff too. So I've got that. I got a song that was cut by. You ever hear a band named Chromeo?
No.
They're a Canadian group, two guys, and they've been out there. They're kind of they do. I guess it's kind of a '90s. They do, but it's the first cut that I had that was a actually cut. And thanks to my son who's in there doing this big time. I don't know if you looked him up, but he had Girls Like You this year, about 2 years ago now. But Adam Levine, so he's doing great in the business. So just it's great. The whole family is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's doing the music. My daughters always were into the film and TV, and Brianna. I don't know if you looked her up at all, but she's did the movies, and Vanessa, she lives in Nashville now, but she's done a lot of movies of the week, TV. Now she's raising two kids. So I got
Yeah, I was going to
grandkids.
ask you about your kids because I saw that your son is very successful doing music, and your daughters, all of them working as actresses. Did they get that from you? Do you feel was that something they always wanted to do, watching you as they were growing up?
I think I mean, I don't think you can help, if you're, especially with this business, you know how intriguing it is for everybody,
Right.
you know. So I think, I mean, I remember with my oldest daughter, the one that's has the raising the two kids now. I remember it was pretty funny because I was doing my two dads, and the producer said, "Hey, listen, if you want anybody who has any kids they want to bring, if you want to bring your kids in, we've got a scene. We need all the kids." And so I told Vanessa, I say, "Hey, Vanessa, you guys, and Jason came, and Brianna wasn't born yet. She was still little. She was born, but so they were all saying, yeah, we want to go. So Vanessa says to me, so what do we do? I said, just don't worry. The director will tell you what to do. The director will guide you through this experience. And she's getting all ready, and so there's this little scene where Paul Reiser comes in, and he's playing this character, Mr. Biggles. He's got some shoes on his ankles, on his knees, and all the kids run up to him, and then they say, "I hear cut. Okay, good. It's great, kids. Hold on a second." So the director walks up to me, says, "Greg, can you tell your daughter not to look directly into the camera?" I said, "Okay." I told her, and so we get back in the car on the way home. She goes, "Okay, well, now I want to get an agent. I want to get it." I said, "Hey, calm down. I says, this is a one I think if you want to be in this business, maybe get in a play or something, start learning a little bit about." So I figured that'll take forever, for her to get in a play or something. I think it was about a week later. She comes back, "Dad, I'm in a play, which you got to drive me to every day, by the way, for the next
my
month."
God.
And
Oh,
and so she was serious right from the beginning. And then I remember there was this big casting lady for that we went. I went in to see her, and I was at a party, and she says, "Greg, let me tell you something. If you have any kids that you know of that are 12, I am so stuck on this trying to cast this pilot." I said, "Oh yeah, I got a daughter that's 12." She goes, "Really? Send her in. I'll look at anybody." And so I sent her in, and that was it. Boom. She got the show, and that set her off. And I'm like, "What happened here? How did this happen?"
determination.
Yeah,
That's
At
amazing.
that young, she had that
determination. Right?
tenacity, that determination. Nothing was going to change her mind.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
beautiful.
It's
and
awesome that
and
you supported her though, because a
yeah,
lot
no,
of
I mean
parents don't.
we never. I always figured, let them find their own way when it comes to what they really want to do. It doesn't help if you just do everything for them. Obviously, you gotta let them find, like you said, let them support them, let them find their way. And of course, living out in Hollywood, I really realize this. You definitely have a little edge on getting started. There's no doubt about that. Because I remember growing up where there wasn't anything in sight in Jersey at the time when I was growing up to get me into business. New York was all the way over there, and you had to get into it and figure out how to make that work. And so there is a big thing when it comes to where you're living. It gives you a start because all their friends now are either the big lawyers that are in the business, even the music business, that lived out here that we know just growing. All the kids that were around have all taken their spot in the business in some way. Not every one of them, but you know what I mean. But a good percentage of the ones that aspired to do those things have done it, and they've gone ahead and got their position. And I think it's because they got, they were around it for their whole lives. Let's put it that way. They're really close to this business, so it becomes more second nature.
It's true. And they have each other, uh, as peers growing up and watching each other, go for it, and that team's community support.
Yeah, definitely. I know with my son in the music business. I mean, all those people from the past, that from the first big band that he had, this one, After Midnight Project, uh, from the first band, a lot of those people are still involved and have taken off and gone to good positions, and they love working together because they know each other. They don't have to get past any other hurdles. They already know each other.
Right.
They're already onto it. So
How many instruments do you play? Because I play like drum, bass, guitar, keyboards. I sing.
oh, great.
You
What's your favorite?
probably play everything. My favorite is the drums.
Right.
I
Yeah,
like to make
drums.
noise.
Yeah, I like to make noise too. I haven't played. I sat down at the drums last week. My son's got a set at his studio set up, and I went and played on. Like, oh man, I really got to practice. I mean, it sounds pretty bad. Maybe it was the room. I'll say it was the room. Uh, but I play keyboards all the time. So keyboards is my main. I picked up. I made a resolution 2 years ago that was to speak Spanish and to learn how to play guitar. So I went and took the lesson. I learned how to play the guitar. Not like I'd like to play the guitar, but and got some of that Spanish down. Not as much as I'd like to have down.
¿Hablas español?
uh, poquito, poquito. So so that, but yeah, I'd say keyboards all the time. I got to get that saxophone out again now that you brought it up, Michelle. And
Actually, Holly did.
oh, Holly
Holly's
brought that up.
obsessed. Holly's
Yeah, Holly, you
obsessed with
brought
the
that
saxophone.
saxophone. Yeah, yeah. You
She's
must have saw that Pink
obsessed.
Lady I did a long time
She
ago.
It's I think it's just such an incredible instrument, and the sounds that come out of it is so beautiful.
I
Yeah,
love it.
I watched something that you played, and I was like, wow.
All right.
Oh,
the
yeah.
breathing to do that though is very hard. I mean, it's very hard to play the saxophone. It's not something that you could just pick up like a guitar and do like 3 chords and say, "Hey, I got a hit song."
Right.
You have
Once
to
you get
really
the breathing down, though, it's not so hard. I mean,
yeah.
How did you learn the sax? Were you self-taught or formula?
the reason I got into the sax was because when I was a kid, I got in the band in school, and that's when they handed out the instruments, it's like, all right, you get this.
You got the sax.
Yeah, I got
Did
a sax.
I
Yeah.
have to ask you, did you ever play with Bruce Springsteen?
No, no. I
Yeah,
never
see, he needs to contact you. Like you guys can do like a benefit together, and then maybe get Billy Ray Cyrus, who then later on you could do a movie with as your brother, and
Yeah.
bring Miley and your son in on it too to have like a like I'm serious. I'm starting to think of a new project coming along.
Yeah. Billy, I every once in a while I see him around. Um, uh, yeah, remember was it Clarence, right? Was the sax player for Bruce
Bruce,
Springsteen.
yeah, and then
No, for
Richie
Bruce, right? Yeah,
Canada.
Bruce.
Richie Canada, I
Richie.
think, did it for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, you should I'm gonna see if I can get in touch with anyone, like maybe Kyle from the Stone Pony, and get you up here.
All right.
And then you have
So,
to fly with Holly too. You had to bring Holly as one of your family members.
okay. Is that
She's
okay
been
with
trying to get me to go to Jersey.
We'll do a live broadcast and we'll promote your music. No, I'm serious. We should do something
you? Go to
because
Jersey. You can't leave Jersey.
yeah, that's true. That's true. especially with this whole epidemic going on. You won't be able to fly back home.
Right, I forgot about that part too. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's true.
We can't go anywhere today. Yeah.
But
I'm trapped in my studio with the door closed.
I know. I
We
want to
can go
talk
on.
about.
We can go on Zoom, but go ahead.
I was going to say I wanted to
Right.
talk about BJ and the bear.
Yes.
Sure.
Because we were talking earlier, I'm obsessed with monkeys. I mean, it's funny because
Chimps.
every holiday or something, my nephews would give me a stuffed animal of a monkey or something.
Chimp.
You
Well,
know, just
he was
yeah,
a chimp.
a
He
chimp.
was a
Yeah,
chimp.
a chimp. That's what I want. I wanted a chimpanzee. I
Yeah.
wanted
No,
with
that's, you
overalls.
don't really want a chimp. And once they grow up, then you're in trouble. What are you going to do?
Well, the whole diaper
Those-
thing, I got a little nervous because I was like, I did not want to be, to be a parent is very hard. And I didn't want to, I would have definitely loved to have the monkey, but what was it
Chimp.
like playing it though? Like, I'm sure he got a lot of attention.
He got a lot of it. Everybody loved him because he was, this beautiful guy. Showed he was only what when I met him. I think he was like 3 years old, something like that.
And you were his best friend.
We became friends immediately. But the trainer said, "So how do you want to start? Do you want to?" I said, "Well, let me go take him. Can I take him up on the top of that mountain over there and just kind of hang out with him for a while just to get acquainted?" He goes, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So I took him, took him by the hand, walked up the side of this little mountain, and we sat there and we pulled out pieces of grass. We sat there eating, like when you put some grass in your mouth, and I give him one, and he give me one, and so we right off the bat it was like, oh, this guy's okay, So we then we got in that truck, and we just drove around for all those years, and it got better. But he was, what do you do? I'll tell you one thing he did to me that you can never teach them how to share. They don't like to share. So
So we would have got along great because I don't like to share either.
You don't like to share? What should we do about getting you a chimp? Yeah, no, he was pretty funny. I tried to get him to share a hot dog with me one time because I thought it'd be great for the scene. He almost took my arm off. I was like, "Geez." That was one time he got me pretty good. Luckily I had my leather jacket on, because they're powerful.
You had tremendous success with that show. That is an incredible, a very unique show. First of all, there wasn't anything like it, and I have so many fans that love you, and to this day, I mean, it's an iconic show. And take us through how you came about this role. What happened? What was those? How did you come about it? And what what was it like filming? I mean, you're filming with a chimp every day. That's
And
your
you
co-star.
had to drive a truck. That's hard
That's
too.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like a crash course. But it was the way it started really was I was ready to leave town. I came out and I did this one show with Paul Schaefer and we did a show called A Year at the Top for Norman Lear and Don Kirshner and Neil Bogart, all these three heavyweight guys in the business, and which was really a great entree to how things work. I mean, working with these guys right off the bat, and so the way it happened was I came, that brought me to California, that show, that Year at the Top, but I ran out of money, so I was ready to go back. I said, I can't stay out here. I don't have any money, so I packed it all up. I did have an agent, and she said, Greg, look, just go in for this one thing. I said, well, what is it? She says, it's this guy. He's like, he drives in a truck, and he's got a chimpanzee, and I said, that's a guy with a chimp. And she says, yeah. I said, no, I don't think so. I don't want to do that. She says, no, just go. What do you got to lose? Because you're leaving anyway. So I went in. I went in, and it was crazy. It was a different kind of interview because usually if you go in a room, there's a person, that's it, and the camera, right? This was a truck in a studio, and nobody around, just a couple guys running the camera and the sound. Guy comes in, puts a lavalier on me, and I'm like, really? This is somebody. They said, we want to see how you look in the truck. Okay, so I go in, I do the lines and I do the whole thing, and I didn't care. I mean, I really didn't care at all, and I just kind of had an attitude that. So I get out, I leave, I go to leave, and Glenn Larson walks up to me. You know Glenn Larson, right? You remember he he did BJ and the Bear. He had a bunch of big hits. But um, Glenn walks up to me and says, Greg, you, I think you're right for this part. I think you'd be great for this part. I'm just a little worried about your age. You look a little young, to be in Vietnam and everything. I said, no, actually, I'm right that age, and he says, I think you're right for this part. I said, okay, great, thanks. I'm thinking, yeah, right. All right, I'll see you. Well, take care. And I just leave. And so by the time I get home, my phone, at the time we had, tape answering machines. The tape is all used up. What the hell's going on here? So my agent must have called me 15 times just by the time I got home.
Oh boy.
And said, you got the part. You got it. What happened? How did that happen? I said, I don't know. I said, I didn't really care whether I got it or not, I guess, which is a good lesson for everybody, by the way. Don't care too much. Care enough to be prepared, but don't if you want it too bad, sometimes and it was really a great lesson for me. It really set the stage for realizing that preparation's great. You got to be ready, but at the same time, don't get too crazy about things, because people are people and they just want to see you as a person. So I said, well, what's going on? What are we going to do? How are we? She says, well, I'll work out the deal. She was with ICM, and so I said, well, when do we start? And they said, they're starting next week. Oh God, okay. So I stayed there. Obviously, I had to borrow some money to pay for my rent, and then I went to, what was next? They threw me in the truck. They sent me to Wally Thor's Truck Masters to learn how to drive that thing, right? And so that was it. It was like, I don't think I could have, no matter what I did, I don't think I was going to not get that license. I think, I could have been the worst driver. They gave me the license in 3 days. I got it in 3 days, and then that was it. We just showed up on the set. We shot the pilot, and then waited for a whole year before it even got picked up. So I was in California waiting around to see what was going to happen with the show, and sure enough, it happened. So.
And you almost laugh. It goes to show, never pass up an opportunity. That was huge turnaround for you. That.
Yeah, I am so stupid with that. I turned down my two dads too. Like I had to get talked into that one because I didn't want to be a father in a show. I didn't want to be a father in a show at the time. I like, no, once you're a father in a show, then that's it, And I had all these things in my head and luckily I had people around me that talked me into things at the right time and most of those things turned out to be the biggest things, that like My Two Dads was a great success. And obviously, how BJ and the Bear did, that was good.
Oh, there was a lot of them. Melrose Place, you were on General Hospital. You're like a real actor.
You're a working actor. Right?
You really, no, but you really are. Like you could do any, you played a doctor in one.
Thanks. That reminds me of my first doctor experience. And I went up to play a doctor when I first came to from New Jersey. And I went in and I remember my agent called me after the audition because I went in and I said, I can't remember the lines, but something like, so I think we're going to have to take this, I think the guy needs his gallbladder removed. I think we're going to have to take that out. And I was like, I had a certain accent that I had at the time. And he gets back and goes, Greg, if you're going to go up for a doctor, you can't talk like this. If you go into it, you can't say this and that and all this. You can't do that. I said, just, you got to go take some coaching. I said, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But it just reminded me of that, but go ahead, keep going.
I love it. No, I you know what? Did you ever do any like mafia stuff? Cause you can do it.
I haven't really gotten a chance to do that. No.
I think that's coming up in the future. I still see you doing something with Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah, Billy's a good guy.
Well, you went into soap operas too, like General Hospital, Pacific Palisades, and you did a Canadian series, A Big Sound. How did that compare? How was your experience working on soaps as opposed to television? And what did you like best?
Well, the only one that was really a soap that I ever did, really, the others they were called nighttime. I guess they called them nighttime soaps. the only daytime stuff I did was the General Hospital one. That was just my agent called me and said, you know, hey, you want it? It's 50 shows. And I'm like, 50 shows? All right, I'll try it, I mean, if Franco can do it, I'll just, I'll try it, but I like I mean, Big Sound, that was, you saw that show, Big Sound? I love that show. I wish we would have gotten a better, that was supposed to cross over on VH1 long, at the time. It was too bad because it was a little ahead. It was all about the music business for those who don't know, which most people, because it was a Canadian show, and it was supposed to cross over to the U.S. But I played a manager who was had all these clients that were out of their minds, and I had to deal with all their lives and everything. So it was a really good premise. And David Steinberg was the producer. I don't know if you know David Steinberg, but he's a great guy. Great. He has a show where he interviews people now too. But great director. He did Curb Your Enthusiasm. He must have done, God,
Loved that show. Yeah.
20 some at least. So he was great. It was great to work with him. But Melrose Place, that's a nighttime soap. That wasn't. It's kind of, you call it a soap, but it was nighttime TV. So yeah, I liked it. I like the. My favorite was My Two Dads because I love the comedy, and I loved working with these great writers that we had, and just kind of like doing a mini play every week is what it is, because we did it in front of a live audience. So it was a lot of fun.
They should bring that back.
Yeah, we should do. Paul and I should be My Two Grandpas. Come back.
That would be amazing. I mean, because they brought back Fuller House.
Yeah, I know. That's right, and that's Michael Jacobs too, right? No.
Yeah. No. Oh my
Michael
God, I
did
went
bring
blank.
something back. I forget what the name is. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Wait, I don't know if it was Michael Jacobs, but
I don't think it was actually. I think it was.
But if I heard the name, I would.
Yeah.
But they brought that back to Netflix.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's to say they won't bring your show back? That would be really cool.
Well, somebody's got to inspire it. You know what I mean? It has to be inspired by somebody, and Paul would have to want to do it. Paul. I would love to. I think it would be fun to do.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stacy's around. I talk to Stacy every once in a while. She's a prosecuting attorney.
Oh wow!
My daughter.
Wow.
Prosecuting attorney now. So she's a. So
do you keep up with the people that you worked with in the shows?
Yeah. Like Paul, I talk to Paul every once in a while, and he's always doing good. He's a good guy. Stacy, like I said, I talked to her pretty recently. So she's doing good. She just got married a couple of years ago now. And is a prosecuting attorney. So complete departure. But I think she wants to get back into it again. I'm like, what are you, crazy?
So
buddy,
your whole family, it looks like they're all Barbie dolls, like, because they're all beautiful. You should like I'm gonna say you should hit up somebody and just put cameras in all your houses while COVID is going on and just go live. And you could put it on Mupo. You could put it on the Mupo Entertainment if you want to.
Yeah,
But I'm saying,
I did that. I shot a pilot for this with my family. I shot a pilot, a comedy, and we never got it going. Unfortunately, I think it was a little bit like it with the timing, because what they wanted at the time, mine was that I wrote. It was a scripted. It was a scripted show, right? So it was scripted reality, but they wanted reality, and they're saying like, oh well, no, we want to do a reality show with your family. I'm like,
but all reality is scripted.
They wanted to do it. That's what I said. But see, at the time they were. This is I'd say 5 years ago, 6 years ago. At the time, they were more. It was more like, okay, we're not going to say that it's scripted reality, but there's always a little scripted. But no, we want reality. We want to plant cameras in your house all day long. Like, nah, nobody wanted to do that. So
it's like the camera's on, but keep it real.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
this was, it was pretty fun to show.
Interesting.
It was fun to do it. It was fun to get, because I never got to work with my oldest daughter. Even though we've both been in the same movies, we've never been in the same scene. So I said, all right, this is gonna. And then I got my son to do it too, because he at the time. This is before he had the big success. So so we had some good scenes, and Connie Salica played my wife, and yeah, we had a good little cast, and we got some good scenes out of it. But it's something I'd like to revisit for sure
So
in the near future.
you also didn't you write Mirror Image for the Osborne family and it went gold?
Yes.
So tell us
He never
about that.
paid.
He never
Well,
paid
Jason,
you?
they owe us 18 grand, but
Ugh.
Jason's doing way too good to be bothered with that. But it's a principle thing with me. So I don't like when people don't pay.
I'm like that too. That's a Jersey thing.
Yeah.
That's because I don't know if it's just me or people from Jersey now, but do you hit first and then ask questions later?
He does the accent.
Yeah, like I'll start snapping at someone and telling them off, and then I'll be like, okay, what actually did happen?
I'll say, hey, look, man, you guys, you don't want me to bring Michele in, because I bring her in here, you're done. Okay.
You know what the funniest thing is? I am the nicest person. I just don't like being taken advantage of. And it's scary, because I know that a lot of the industry, the entertainment industry, like in acting, do people take advantage? I mean, you guys act.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, people can take advantage, but I think the great thing about union, if you're doing union jobs, I mean, at least you have the union behind you. And most of the jobs I've done, in fact, I have to do union jobs. I've always gotten paid. I mean, but I know there's nightmare stories of people that haven't gotten paid for their work after doing a whole movie, because it's something that's off the grid and it's a little more independent, and people make all sorts of promises. I mean, even the music business is worse than getting paid in the music business. Forget it.
Tell me, even being a ghostwriter, you don't get publishing, you don't get, So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw you sing a beautiful duet with Marie Osmond, and I was wondering, what was it like working with her, and have you kept in touch? You ever thought about working together again?
I know that was a one-time thing, I mean, I think it was 2 times I worked with her, and it was those specials, a long time ago. Jeez, but
it was beautiful. Oh my God, the two of you were like, wow.
You got a great voice.
Yeah, 2 great voices there. What is the After Midnight project? Where did you come up with the name? Where did the name come from?
Well, the way that happened was, I had my studio. This is my new studio at my house, but I had another building in the back that's like a 1,600 square foot building, and that's where the studio used to be. So Jason started dominating my studio, and I said, look, you can work here all you want, as long as you work after midnight, okay? So you work after midnight, and I'll take it during the day, and so that's what he did. And that was the After Midnight project.
I was curious, because we were talking about that before we came on, about his project, but I didn't know. I was like, where did she come up with that name?
Yeah,
I like it.
He came up with it. I'm pretty sure he definitely used it as a name, but it came from there. That's how it originated. But you went to Mirror Image. That's right. I forgot. That was a song that Jason and I wrote together. Yeah, and so he had I think it was a different band then. Though. It was before After Midnight Project. But yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear you got stiff. That's not cool.
Yeah, he got stiff too on it, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah. So
you live and learn. Is that a DX7 behind you?
This one here?
Yeah.
No, it's a motif. That's a motif.
That is a motif. I was gonna say that next, but I'm looking for a DX7.
Those are great. Yeah.
They're hard to find.
I've got one in a rack mount.
Oh.
That's why I can't wait to get this room that you can't see here.
We need to get you guys on a Zoom playing. You both play multiple instruments.
Yeah, the only problem is the delay is terrible. Believe it or not. Have you tried? We tried writing sessions with Zoom, and the problem is you can never do anything at the same time. There's that fraction of a delay that doesn't allow you to do music.
What does the future look like for Greg Evigan?
That's a good question. My passion, like I said, I really, what the COVID, I was thinking about this, about how COVID has made people kind of force them into doing things that they maybe didn't do and they
Right.
decided they always wanted to do or something like that. I mean, in remodeling homes alone, I mean, Home Depot didn't hurt from any of this, right? I
No.
mean, people have remodeled their homes. They've done all these things. And for me, it's I built a studio. That was a big one for me. Getting a great place to work like this, and I don't know if you can see. Yeah, I'll try to without messing this up, but I'll show you what the other room unfinished. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes. It's big.
That's going to be that's the room. Obviously, nowhere near the fixtures on the wall, all the baffles and everything that this one has. So anyway, that's that. And then so that's my project. That's my project to get that done. And then music. So I've been doing a lot of new demos and pop stuff. I got a couple things my son has that he loves that I've done, and he's getting out with different artists and that kind of thing. So because he's the writer, writer producer now. So and so he's always liked my stuff, and he's taken some things I've done from the past even and done completely different treatments on that I would never even think of, and so it's great to work with him on music. And so that's opened some other doors there with other people too that are writers. And so this is what I used to do when I was doing the shows. I never stopped doing the writing. I wrote the theme song for my team. I co-wrote with my writer friend of mine, Lenny Macaluso. We did the theme song for My Two Dads, and I sang the theme songs for the shows. And
Yeah.
so music has always been. I've always tried to use whatever show I was involved with or movie to get the music in the show somehow, because I didn't. You have to use what you got at your at your fingertips, and those things. And anybody who's tried to do this finds out pretty quick that if you don't know a way in, if you don't find some way in to get yourself your music exposed and some connection, and what better connection than when you're the lead in a show or something like that.
Right.
At least I get,
Right.
when I sold the theme song, You Can Count on Me, when we sold that to Michael Jacobs is also a music guy. In fact, I met him and I didn't even remember until he reminded me when I was doing a Year at the Top. I was in Don Kirshner's office in New York. I don't know if you remember. Do you know Don Kirshner?
How is Don Kirshner?
Don Kirshner, he passed away, but a couple of years ago. But Don Kirshner was him, and he was the biggest guy in the business. Carole King, he had all these incredible artists. He had the Monkees. He started.
Yeah.
He had the Monkees. He had so many artists. I mean, and I remember being in his office, and that's when I met Michael Jacobs, was one of his writers, all the way back then. And that's how I got My Two Dads, because Michael called me personally, called my agent, because I want to meet with Greg, and this is years after, years later, maybe 10, and he said, you're who I want for this role, and I'm like, wait a minute, what do I have to? What is it? And this is the thing about being, you got to play a dad. I'm like, oh. He says, no, Greg, this is gonna be a great show. Paul Reiser's doing it. This is gonna be great. You got to do this. And he literally talked me into it on that day. I said, so all right, so let's say I say yes. What do I have to do? He says, you got to go to the network with me in 2 hours. I said, what? 2 hours? We're just going to go in. Yep, it's a test. There's going to be people there. There's going to be other people, but I'll just take you in and we'll go in and that's it. And do you know about these network things at all? Have you ever heard about what happens on these networks?
No, not at all. Enlighten us, please.
The entire network comes in into this little room that has no sound in it at all. You can hear yourself breathe, and it's the worst feeling in the world. I can't tell you how terrible.
No pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure, right? Yeah, and this is it. And they're going to make the decision. Boom, right there. They're going to pick the person. And so if you were, and I've done this a few times where I've been on the other side where I've gone through the entire Dog and Pony Act before, weeks and weeks of it, and then I go to network. This was literally, I walk into Michael's office. Yeah, I got a meeting with Michael. We sit down, we talk for an hour. Okay, he drags me over to this network. 2 hours later, and boom, done, finished. That's it. And that's how it happened. But why do we talk about this? How did it start?
We're just
We're
it's
just
great. It's great information. I mean, it's great for people. There's so many people out there, that don't know these things. And
Yeah,
it's just great. I was going to say, if what would your advice be to, obviously you have your kids in the business and they've grown up around it. What would you say to someone wanting to get in the business that doesn't have the parent that's in it and is
yeah.
wanting to put their music out there, go act like your daughters did? What advice would you give to them?
I would probably say that you have to figure out what you want to do. You figure out which part of this business you really want to be in. And but if you're talking about as an actor, you're talking about as an
Yes,
actor. Yeah. So
actor or and musician.
okay. Well, I mean, that two completely different things
Right.
because the musician has to go. I think you've got to either have some sort of band or you have to have. If you want to go in as a writer musician, there's so many different facets to all of it. Uh, but I would say, being that you have the advantage now of online, so much online promotion
Yes.
and YouTube uh, and I'm going through it right now. So I can tell you what I'm going to try to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up every radio station I ever did an interview with in the past, and I'm going to go around. I'm going to just start doing some interviews and bring the music and start promoting so I can point people towards my website, because how does anybody know about you if they don't know about where to see you, where to, it's not even like we have the networks anymore. We have a few networks, and those are completely controlled by, as they always were, by the way, controlled by uh, the producers that have been very successful, the Chuck Lorre's of the world, and the people that have
Well,
got
we'll
those
help
prime
you.
time slots. What's that?
We'll help you.
Oh, good. I appreciate it. I really do. It's all, it all goes together. I mean, I think if someone, I mean, I always say, like right now, you can't even do a play. You see, this is the problem.
Mhm.
We have a big problem with the COVID. People aren't going out. They can't do anything. So everything is online now. So you have to really figure out a new way to do things. And I think promotion is really, really what people have to do. You have to figure out a way to promote
Promote,
a
promote,
product.
promote. We're
Promote,
talking.
Promote.
promote, promote.
Right.
Right? I mean, really, what else? What else can you do? I mean, it's the only thing you really have. Promotion. The best promotion that was left for artists to make money was to play concerts. In fact, um, record companies never used to touch in the past. They would only make their money off records. But now that's all out the window, right?
Yeah, they would give you
So
a
now,
360 and say, "Hey, here," not realizing that when you're an artist that you have to pay that money back to the record label before you start getting paid. People don't
right?
realize that. And then, the whole music business it was very corrupt at one time, and I think it's changed a lot,
Yeah,
over the years. It's everything like we'll definitely have to talk about it after. Um
yeah.
I'll definitely tell you some ways that you could, you know,
Okay, great.
change it.
No, I appreciate that. But to answer the question, Holly's question, I think I think the promotion thing, how you have to figure out how to either perform someplace or get some tape on yourself or some constant flow of music, or how to show your talent off so that you can get people to commit to being interested in what you're doing. I mean, isn't that the case?
Exposure.
Exposure, and then once you're exposed, then okay, so how do you then what? That's the question, right? Once you're exposed, how do you keep people interested? Because people are their attention span now is really short. They want everything quick. They want to see the next thing, the next thing. I mean, YouTube is a great example of that. I mean, That's my favorite thing to do. I just want to find out what's going on and who's doing what. Let's go on YouTube.
Mhm.
Oh, I get a snippet of this.
Content,
Yeah, content,
constant content.
constant content. Yeah. But with the
Well, Greg,
acting, I think you just have to go. I mean, I would say get in a play or something. And once plays come back, and once you get the experience of being able to get up in front of people and start to feel like feel like you're a performer, and and I think that's not a bad way to start. It's not a bad way to start. Get in acting workshops. Then you're around other people that can help you out too, and you can talk about the best way. Somebody hears something and they talk to them. It's uh, kind of a the village feeling. It's you.
it's true, and there's a lot of online. They're being very generous. I know the Actors Guild with a lot of curriculums that they have going for actors. A lot of the stuff that wasn't as accessible, they're now doing it for free as well. So
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, it's great that everybody's united together to be supportive of the arts.
yeah.
It has been great having you. I am so happy that you stopped by. It's just absolutely thank you so much. And before we leave, we like to do this fun thing where I say three statements, you finish them. So
Okay,
promise nothing that's going to get you in trouble. So, so we're going to start. You ready?
sure.
Music is
The key and the heart of everyone's soul, and the universal language.
what matters above all in life.
Family, friends,
Legacy means
means forever. What you leave forever for everyone.
thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Evigan, and you can follow Greg on his website at evigan.com. That's EVIGAN.com. And are you on the Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah, I'm on
Facebook,
all those. Yeah.
all of those
Oh,
at
I'm gonna
Greg
follow you.
Evigan?
Okay. I got to
At
follow me too. I got strike a line. I'm the worst.
I'm already following you.
Uh,
Uh, Thank you so much for stopping by. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Mupo and Friends. As always, this is a courtesy of Mupo TV. You can watch our show at www.mupoentertainment.com. Again, that's www.mupoentertainment.com. And as always, this is Holly Lombardi with our special guest, Greg Evigan at evigan.com, and our CEO and host and mastermind of Mupo and Friends and Mupo Entertainment, Michele Mupo. And right now, until next time, we are over and out.
take care.